Now, you and I seem to blame our government, but when we speak to the people in the diaspora, in USA, in Japan, in Germany, none of them seems to blame the government. What is our government not doing right?
Like I said, the problem with most African leaders is we don't prepare ahead of time. We don't set plans in motion, to forestall this kind of issues happening. And like the guy in Germany said, and the guy and the lady in the US, most African nations depend on imports from these more industrialized countries, right? Okay, let's take the UK for example. The last minister, Liz Truss, was just in office for 45 days. And she was getting stressed, and she was getting pressure, and she felt she wasn't doing what she was supposed to do, or she couldn't do it, and she resigned. African leaders rarely, in fact, I have not seen any African leader resign in my 40-something years on earth. No African leader resigns. They want to stay there, even when things are working, when it's not going the way it's supposed to go, when things are not working right for the populace, they still stick to power. In fact, they go all out to stay in power. So the problem is this. We need to be able to put up policies in advance to check situations like this. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, if Africans had more open borders and traded amongst themselves, it will help boost our economy so much so that we don't have to depend on these westernized nations for most of the things we need. Because imagine when you import things from people that are better than you, every time you import, you pay taxes, you pay duties, there are a lot of things that are involved. It's higher. But if those things are manufactured or produced locally, right, it reduces the taxes and duties on them. And instead of enriching or benefiting the westernized nation, it benefits other African nations, our neighbors, let's say Nigeria, Ghana, Togo, Benin Republic, all the countries that are around each other. It benefits them because now they trade with each other. They have this trade agreement between them that certain things are bound to happen. If our refineries in Africa are working and we're refining in Africa and we're selling to our other African countries, it helps. It doesn't help that dollar is the world currency, in quotes. And right now, like the lady in America, Jatu said, the dollar is threatening against almost every currency. The euro used to be above the dollar, but now the dollar is way above the euro. The pound that used to give both of them like a wide margin, now the pound is like almost coming to the same level as the dollar. So it shows you that the dollar is strengthening, and while America has a huge deficit and all, their economy is kind of strong at the moment.
Yeah.
Yes, they are playing the crunch, but not as much as Africans are playing the crunch. So if Africa can increase the level of trade between nations, between African nations, open up the borders, make it easier for one manufacturer in Kenya to bring in things to Nigeria easily, or for Nigeria to export to Kenya easily, or Ghana, or Benin Republic, or Cote d'Ivoire, or South Africa, any other African country, we increase the trade. And then our leaders need to put in measures to forestall stuff like this happening. Okay, we're talking about flooding in Nigeria. It is not just because there is rain. I keep telling people sometimes, Lagos, for example, where I live, is an island. Lagos as an island is bigger than Netherlands, and Netherlands is an island. But when in Netherlands, when it rains, no matter how heavy, it rarely floods. Because they have a system where the water circulates under houses, through their canals. But here in Lagos, it doesn't work like that. People build houses on top of canals. So when you block the canal where the drainage, where water is supposed to pass, what happens? It floods. It affects people on lower areas. So we need proper infrastructure to check all these things.
Okay.
When your house floods and lose everything you have, you don't have anything to fall back on. What happens? It impacts on you and on the society. So if our leaders come together, put in more measures, appropriate measures that will counter this, and open up trading between partner nations, between other African countries, I believe it will help things a lot.
Definitely. Definitely. Let me go to your final words before you go, Talks.
Yes. our leaders, they are the key. The masses, they are also the key. The leaders will plead, they will beg, they will make all sorts of promises before they get into power. Then when they get into power, they don't fulfill any of these promises that they made. It's just seen as election promises. And they don't even allow the masses to question them. Like abroad, when you don't like the government or what they are doing, people can stage a peaceful protest, a demonstration. They can question. In fact, I remember the last time during the Iraqi war, someone threw a shoe at George Bush. Now, imagine if it was in Africa. Before the shoe would have landed, the person that threw it would be on the floor before the shoe, because the security agencies of the president will get him down and beat him up, which is the truth. So if our leaders are so straightforward and so open that they can allow us or the masses to question them when they are not doing the right thing, when they are not governing properly, I think that's the start. And then they should also realize that they don't go in there to loot. They go in there to govern, to make lives better for the people, not just for themselves or their cronies or for their relatives, but for every citizen. The way Africans are valued outside, we are only valued for our brain power.
All right, Talks. Thank you so much.
They call us all sorts of names.
All right. Thank you.